Imagine a poison so subtle, so insidious, that its effects mimicked a natural illness. A silent killer that could take 3 agonizing days to complete its deadly work, yet leave absolutely no trace behind. For centuries, this wasn't merely the stuff of nightmares or fiction. It was a chilling reality, a whispered legend that struck fear into the hearts of emperors, popes, and common folk alike. Tonight, we delve into the shadowy annals of history to uncover the truth behind the ultimate weapon of the unseen hand, the poison that killed slowly, silently, and vanished without a trace. A macabre masterpiece of deceit, whose story continues to haunt us. From the earliest empires, poison has been a weapon of choice for those seeking power or revenge. Think of Socrates, forced to drink hemlock, or the Roman emperors constantly fearing a poison chalice. But these ancient poisons, potent as they were, often acted quickly, dramatically, and left telltale signs. They were crude. What if you needed a kill that granted you not just death but deniability? A death that could be easily dismissed as fate, illness, or simply old age? The desire for such an elusive killer sparked a dark quest, a hidden arms race in the ancient world, seeking the ultimate, untraceable weapon. The dream of a perfect poison was simple. It had to be tasteless, odorless, and colorless. It had to be administrable in small, cumulative doses over days or weeks, allowing the victim to slowly sicken, their demise appearing perfectly natural. And, crucially, it had to vanish, leaving no forensic evidence for the rudimentary medical examiners of the era. This wasn't just about murder. It was about control, about shaping destinies without direct confrontation. The very concept was a chilling testament to human ingenuity applied to its darkest purpose, a phantom death orchestrated by a phantom hand, leaving only questions and sorrow. Even in the mighty Roman Empire, where power struggles were a daily ritual, the art of poisoning flourished. Figures like Locusta, the infamous poisoner serving Empress Agrippina and Nero, gained notoriety for her deadly concoctions. Yet, even Locusta's poisons, while effective, often brought swift, violent ends that screamed foul play. There was always a lingering suspicion, a body that spoke volumes, even if forensics were primitive. The search continued, beyond crude hemlock and belladonna, for something truly sophisticated, a substance that would allow a killer to walk away, utterly blameless, while their victim slowly faded. Centuries later, as the Roman Empire faded, its dark legacy of hidden deaths found new life in the opulent, yet cutthroat world of Renaissance Italy. This was an age of brilliant art, scientific discovery, and brutal political machinations. Dynasties like the Borgias and the Medicis navigated a treacherous landscape where a misplaced word or a rival's ambition could mean a swift, often public, execution. But for those who preferred subtler means, Italy's vibrant intellectual scene also fostered a new era of chemical experimentation. The demand for the perfect poison was at an all-time high, creating fertile ground for its emergence. And then, in the heart of 17th century Italy, the legend materialized. Her name was Giulia Tofana, a notorious professional poisoner operating out of Rome and Naples. Far from a shadowy figure, she ran a thriving cosmetic business, a perfectly respectable front for her true enterprise. Under the guise of selling manna of St. Nicholas for women's blemishes, or simple facial oils, she distributed a concoction that would become history's most infamous undetectable poison. She was no crude killer. She was an artist, a chemist of death, catering to a clientele desperate for liberation or power in a world that offered them little. The recipe for Giulia Tofana's infamous Aqua Tofana was a closely guarded secret, passed down through generations of women. However, historical analyses suggest it was primarily a potent blend of arsenic, lead, and antimony, dissolved in water. Crucially, it was tasteless, odorless, and crystal clear, perfectly indistinguishable from pure water or, as she often marketed it, a skin tonic. This chemical precision was what made it so deadly and so untraceable. A few drops, administered over several days, would ensure a slow, agonizing descent into death, a process mimicking natural illness with horrifying accuracy. It was truly an invisible solution. The genius, or horror, of Aqua Tofana lay in its carefully calibrated timeline. The first dose would bring a feeling of malaise, an inexplicable fatigue. The second day, a persistent stomachache, perhaps fever, symptoms easily dismissed as a common ailment. By the third day, the victim would be severely weakened, often lapsing into a coma, their body slowly shutting down as organ failure set in. Then death. The lack of any dramatic convulsions or obvious signs of poisoning meant that physicians of the era, without modern toxicology, were completely stumped. They would diagnose natural causes, attribute it to a sudden fever, or simply the will of God. How did Aqua Tofana evade detection for so long? The answer lies in the primitive forensic science of the time. Without advanced chemical analysis, a colorless, odorless liquid composed of common heavy metals would leave no specific marker that a physician could identify. The symptoms were generic, mimicking a host of natural illnesses. Upon death, the body would exhibit no unusual lesions or discolorations characteristic of other poisons. The culprit could simply mourn their sickly spouse or rival, collecting their inheritance or power with an unblemished reputation. Aqua Tofana was, for its time, the perfect murder weapon, crafting the perfect alibi. Perhaps the most fascinating and tragic aspect of Aqua Tofana's story is its primary clientele, women. In a patriarchal society where divorce was often impossible and abuse was rampant, Julia Tofana offered a terrible, yet effective, escape. Her cosmetics were predominantly sold to wives trapped in brutal marriages, empowering them with a deadly, silent agency. But it wasn't just abused women. Ambitious women seeking to remove a rival or secure an inheritance also sought her services. Aqua Tofana became a tool of both desperation and cunning, reshaping lives and fortunes from the shadows of domesticity. For over 50 years, Julia Tofana operated with impunity, believed to be responsible for hundreds of deaths. But even the cleverest schemes eventually unravel. A client, perhaps consumed by guilt, confessed, leading to Tofana's capture. In 1659, Julia Tofana and her network were exposed, arrested, and executed in Rome. Yet, the fear of Aqua Tofana lingered for centuries. Whispers persisted that bottles of the poison, or its recipe, had escaped, continuing its deadly work. The legend became a cautionary tale, a symbol of hidden malice, reminding generations that the most dangerous weapons are often those you can't see coming. The story of Aqua Tofana is more than just a chilling account of a historical poison. It is a stark reminder of the lengths to which individuals, both the powerful and the powerless, would go to exert control, seek revenge, or escape their circumstances in a world without justice. It reveals a darker side of human ingenuity, crafting a weapon of such subtlety that it evaded detection for generations. Even today, the phantom killer, Aqua Tofana, remains a macabre testament to the enduring human fascination with the perfect crime and the terrifying reality of a poison that truly did take 3 days to kill, leaving absolutely no trace.